So I work in advertising and marketing. And it's interesting, it's a field that, in the past at least, came under fire for not really displaying true diversity within its workforce. And it's interesting because we create messages for everyone, and if you don't have true gender and racial parity inside the organization, it's very difficult to create messages that are actually effective and meaningful to an audience that is very diverse. The industry is changing. My agency, RGA specifically, is definitely a very diverse place to work, which is fantastic, and it's something we work on every day. It's something that we're conscious of every day. It's something that I take great pride in working on at the agency. And the diversity piece comes very natural. It feels like something that we completely understand, that without diverse experiences and backgrounds and makeups of whether it's gender or it's ethnicity, you're never going to get great work. You're never going to do great things. And so that's something that we're conscious of every day. The thing I always do at the end of every day, no matter what, or almost always do, is I make sure that my husband and I make sure that we sit down and have dinner together. If we're both at home, which is almost always, that it's TV off, set the dinner table, plates, sit down, and it just sort of everything else sort of stops. And for even if it's just for 30 minutes, we have that moment to catch up and to connect and to look directly into each other's eyes and just have that moment. And if it's 15 minutes or it's 30 minutes or it's 2 hours, just having that one moment every day or as often as you possibly can is just a great way to just stay grounded and make sure you remember that you're doing all these crazy, wonderful things in your life, but you have to remember it's really all about this unit. So I worked on this campaign called Love Has No Labels, and it's all about discovering your own inherent bias. And so it was this beautiful campaign. People probably recognize it as the dancing skeletons behind that screen, and people would come out and you would realize that they weren't, with everything stripped away, with no labels, you would project what you thought those people were, who they were behind the screen. You'd see the skeletons kiss and they'd come out around and it would be two women instead of a man and a woman, or it'd be a beautiful black woman and her Asian boyfriend, or it would be two old people, or it would be whatever. And the campaign reminded you of your own inherent bias, because what you're expecting to come around wasn't what was actually there. If I could change the world in one way, it would be to make sure that everybody actually tries to check that bias, to remind themselves that no matter who you are, no matter what race, no matter what gender, we all have a little bit of that in us. And if we could all remember that, I think our actions would be a lot different.